We come nice with it. We just flowing. I'm starting to hold my own. 24 bottles, I'm in my zone. Starting to feel like rappers is clones. Get your girlfriend, she's attached, I'm on the road. Always calling my phone. Just got a text from her, she's so alone. Put my feelings aside, I'm getting thrown. In the booth, just reminiscing on feelings, it's getting old. History's in the making. I'm done with all of y'all faking. Ego, my ego big as a basement. Mixtape drop, y'all can tell I'm making a statement. Shawty look like Rihanna. Into the groove, she switch it up to Madonna. Back then, I used it as a reminder. But I ain't sweating it like a sauna. Hardest flow on the record. Suckers want me on records. Living life is a blessing. Probably settle down when I meet a chick off the Essence. Not really my preference. Ray-Bans looking crisp, caught me a Lexus. Sometimes I see you putting the effort. You want me as your man, I'm like, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ain't nothing changed but the name, I'm still the same. Real talk, I'm at the top of my game. Doing my thing, huh? Doing my thing, huh? Doing my thing, huh? Ain't nothing changed but the name, I'm still the same. Real talk, I'm at the top of my game. Doing my thing, huh? Fourth quarter, I'm going for it. Taking over like Kobe, you know I'm going for it. Couple drinks on the side, I like to drink them slow. Scenery from the beach, that's just the way it go. You know your girl love me, Monday to Sunday. I do it good, but suckers hate me for it like a Monday. All we know is gunplay, so you know that we rolling. I'm dangerous, Larry Bird from the wing, don't leave me open. Black paint with the interior just to match it. Set a goal, don't punt her on it, you better grab it. Flow sharp, yeah, my flow sharp, just like a cactus. It ain't hip hop if you ain't mentioning street tactics. Fall back before you get your wig split. Where I'm from, we some gorillas. Pull out banana clips, y'all only here for the moment. No, never lasting. I burn rappers, treat them like toilets, pee on their ashes. Do it better than legends. I do it better than legends. Sometimes I see you putting the effort. You want me as your man, I'm like, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ain't nothing changed but the name, I'm still the same. Real talk, I'm at the top of my game. Doing my thing, huh? Doing my thing, huh? Doing my thing, huh? Ain't nothing changed but the name, I'm still the same. Real talk, I'm at the top of my game. Doing my thing, huh? First off, let me shout out Creek, cause he the one that give me tactics when it comes to these streets. I'm authentic, rap game, I be his magician. All balls, I go hard, I've been on the mission. Can't take heat, then why the heck you be in the kitchen? Got beef, that better come with some biscuits. You talking mess?
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank y'all for joining tonight. Shouts out to Miss Amelia in the building. Great to see you, Miss Amelia. Shout out to Miss Christina. Shout out to Miss Leslie. I know I'm super late tonight. As usual, I got to work on that this year, for sure. We're going to do like a little quick something here. I mean, I ain't saying like quick and rushing, but, you know, it's going to be a little something that's going to be, you know, we ain't going to push it to an hour or whatever, but we're going to start working on other shows and other ways of doing shows here in the future. So we're going to jump straight into this, and I don't know if y'all saw it. Shouts out to Mario. Thank you so much, says Salute Creek. Radical Arcade. Hey, good to see you, family. Make sure you're here on Wednesday for the Brutally Honest Rap Show. Definitely would love to have you here, and actually I'll bring you on the screen so you can rate the music along with us. Definitely do that. Please be here Wednesday. We're gonna have Piff Penny and possibly I forgot the other artist, man. Actually, we may have actually Scarface's son who's rapping now. We probably gonna have him on Wednesday, so make sure you come through. All right. Okay, so tonight y'all already see that topic, right? And the topic is your man an investment or an asset? I'm sorry. Is he a liability or asset? All right. So make sure that y'all think about this as we move on with this, because this can be very interesting. So right now, let's go with the environment today for women. Finding a good man is less than favorable. We are in the midst of a man trying to lead the relationships, right? So men don't know how to lead relationships like they used to, and a lot of times we know the reason why, because they haven't seen how it's supposed to be led. So some men act very immature a lot of times, for their ages, and men being extremely, sometimes feeling entitled, some men, and so forth and so on. So how can we start making this better amongst relationships? All of us have something to work on, you know what I mean? So an immature man desperately looks for attention because he's immature. And he also sometimes can be loose. He also has an unhealthy dependency on attention, on trying to get attention, right? Have any of y'all ever experienced that? Let me put this link up as well too, right? Shouts out to my brother DJ XL in the building. Now XL, we're talking about we giving it to the women tonight, right? And here's the link for who wants to pop on. For whoever wants to pop on is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of men can be a liability instead of an asset to women. All right. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So sometimes some men are reaching for too much, and they're not, in that position to reach for that much. Have you ever experienced that? Let us know. If you have a man today, what do you think about him? Let's hope that you have a good
Leslie
man.
joined.
All right. All right. Uh-oh. We got Miss Leslie in the building. How you doing? Hold on one second. I'm gonna have to turn this up and turn on that to make sure you don't echo. So did you hear the topic, Miss Leslie?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I would think a woman would hope that her man would be an asset.
Okay. How do you think, I mean, for you, let's say you having a man, what can you see in him? Or give me, y'all know I always like to put numbers behind it. Give me 3 things that would make him an asset to you,
hmm Um, hardworking,
Okay.
someone that's stable, um, and someone that's loyal.
Okay. Jim Dog, what's going on?
Hey, Kenny.
I need you to take a look at that topic there, Jim Dog.
I barely can see it.
Okay, it said, is your man an asset or a liability? right? Now, we got to hear it tonight from the women, and that's okay, you know. Um, so Miss Leslie just ran down what it would, her man to be an asset for, right? And can you run that down again, Miss Leslie?
Hardworking, loyal, and what was the third one?
Um,
There are a lot of things that make a person an asset, you know.
okay, all right. I mean, that's true. That's true. Now, Shimmy, you as a man, if you had to put out three things that you telling a woman right now, what would be uh features or attributes about you that you can tell the woman immediately to make you an asset?
Um, like Ms. Leslie said, the hard working, loyalty, and space. She'll be able to have a space. She won't be um crowded by me, and I won't be checking on her and doing all that because I'm not gonna select a woman I gotta hold by the hand or check up on or check behind and put the GPS tracking system on and all that stuff. So she'll have her space. Of course, we will have our time together, but the loyalty and the hard work and the space.
Okay. I can definitely respect that
Yeah.
because that right there helps create balance. You know what I'm saying?
So I said stability was the other one I said.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what are some things that y'all see that men do that's just extra? That they don't even have to like sometimes dudes be doing the most.
I think of when a guy goes the extra mile, like if he's like, "Hey babe, I see you need gas in the car. Let me go put gas in the car for you," or just those little things that are helpful
Okay.
and just those little things that are like extra and kind and show that he is looking out for you.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, that's something that a man should definitely do. That actually gets under my skin when I, might be driving down the street and you see the lady pumping the gas and then the guy sitting in the seat just chilling, maybe plucking on his phone or
Yeah.
whatever. That's crazy. Uh um where do you think that stems from? Like, for a man to make that decision, whether if he should help her or step up and do it or whatever. Do you feel as though he has to be trained to do that? Or like,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think just brought up with values.
Okay.
His parents have taught him how to treat a woman.
Okay. All right. That's very true. I agree with that. And that's why the foundation and his background is so detrimental, because if he doesn't do those type of things, a lot of times that's when he becomes a liability. And
Right.
we hear a lot of stories now where women are taking care of men now. N- you know Now if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know I mean, I can see her doing things for him or whatever, because that she's just showing appreciation. But when he ain't doing much of nothing and just trying to sit back and just take it all in, that's not right. You know. Um.
hmm
So moving forward, an immature man uses what is between his legs or what he thinks between his legs to move forward. Have you ever
Exactly.
before?
And that's not the most important thing. I mean,
Hmm.
that's someone that's insecure
That's very true. That's true.
if they think that that's the most important.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. And we say also boasts, uh, and boast about himself. And I notice like a lot of guys, a lot of times they're overconfident, right? And then sometimes you have remember that saying, the loudest guy is the weakest guy in the room. And a lot of times that's
Mhm.
true. They're like chihuahuas. The chihuahua is so small and he's barking, trying to be, like he's so big. So, shouts out to Pokey Suit in the building. Pokey Suit said, women's liberating cause it, cause that. It's simple." And I agree with that. I heavily agree because what happens is that women's liberation, they got these women out there, and now a lot of them are, puffing their chests out, and a lot of, well, I don't want to call them men because a man is going to do what he's supposed to do regardless, but a lot of them step back and they let the women handle it, and that's not right. You know what I mean?
So you
Sometimes
think
women
that
can get out there and feel as though that they need to do all that, but then sometimes they pipe it down and say, you know what? Nah, I really don't need to do all this. Let my mate handle that. That's his job.
so you think that men are intimidated by strong women, or
Absolutely. They shouldn't be, but there's a lot of them out there that are intimidated by a woman that has built something for themselves. I see you shaking your head. You don't think so, Shem Dog?
Nah, I don't think I wouldn't use intimidated. I would use insecure, but not intimidated.
Well, I would stick with intimidated. But you saying that the men will be insecure?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if she can bring more to the table. She has more to offer. She's more educated. She's more refined. She's more mature. She's more classy. She's just all around that woman, that virtuous woman that a grown man desires. And he think he's at that level where he deserves a woman like that, but he really doesn't. But she chose him because that's how it works. She chose him, so he can be insecure because he's got him a dime. I wouldn't say a prize because men are the prize, but he may be a little insecure because he's got a woman that's top notch at all levels.
What's up, big sis? Hey, big sis. My big sis Leslie in the building. Shouts out to her. But you saying insecure, I can get where you're going at with that too, but also intimidated. Sometimes them guys are intimidated of messing with a woman that maybe have something up going on about herself in reference to her status or whatever. I mean, it couldn't be me. A person is a person. You know what I mean? And that's not. I'm not trying to look down on nobody or nothing like that. But a person is a person. A man is a man. A woman is a woman. And I'm not going to let that. I mean that's something I think that a person needs to build up about themselves if they get in front of certain people and feel as though they need to be a certain way because of this person's status or whatever. I think that's crazy. But there are people out there that's like that. Um, um,
a person has to be
Go ahead. A person has to be what?
comfortable in their own skin,
Yes.
for themselves.
Right. I agree with that. And that's the thing almost with what Shimmy was talking about. That's where the insecurity comes in. You see what I'm saying? And it's I think, like I said, I think it's wild for somebody to feel inferior over somebody else, and especially because of what they do in their life. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, that's something right there. Also, an immature man also a lot of times he can make a decision based off of rumors. You know how some or make decisions out of anger. Now we all have a little bit of that, but sometimes we have to catch ourselves. But a lot of these guys, that's why there's a lot of trouble that goes on out here with a lot of these guys because of them making decisions, while they're upset. And that's something that a lot of us need to work on, even myself sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Um, sometimes we can be in great spaces in our life and feel confident about what we are doing in life and where we are in life. But let some of that stuff change, and sometimes you can feel a little weak about yourself. And then every little thing, if there's an imbalance, every little thing you can get upset or whatever. Like I said, I'm guilty of that sometimes in my life. So, and I'll say it, and that's where I know, hey, I need to catch myself. I need to fix myself. Right?
Yeah, I think we
Usually,
all have weak moments.
yeah, because we're imperfect, and a lot of times too, you got to remember, when things ain't going right, sometimes we don't go right. So, um, now, also, have you ever seen? Now, this is another thing. An immature man, a lot of times, can allow people's opinion to change the way they feel and how they react to things. And so that's why another thing you gotta be in have the right mindset going on, or be in the right mind, because you know you go in a room and you're supposed to represent yourself well, but if you're not siding with someone else's opinion, you can't go flipping off and get mad about it, right?
Right.
Uh, so, have you ever been in a relationship, Shimmy, and felt as though you were uh, like a liability to this person because remember, we all have weak times in our life.
No.
You've always felt like an asset to another.
Yes. Because I mean, in a relationship, you're taking up on another person's time and
Hmm.
their presence. So I'm not selfish like that. If my shit ain't together, if I'm not feeling whole and complete, there's no way that I'm going to sit up there and draw interest from someone and not be fulfilling to them as I am to myself. I got to make sure I'm whole and complete. And some people are selfish like that. They'll get involved and they're still trying to piece shit together with themselves. It's like, nah, me, I've never been like that. And that's selfish when you're not functioning on all levels, and you're um just still so desperately wanting to be with somebody for the moment or forever, and you get involved. I never wasted nobody's time being unfit or imbalanced or not together.
Okay, I mean, and that makes sense because what happens is that you should look at things like that. You should be considerate of other people. Sometimes, if you don't want to take like your situations, like if they're not up to par at the moment, and lay it on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of selfishness.
Look, I've always been at the point. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, you
I've
good.
always I've almost been at the point where if I'm in a relationship and things get rocky for me on my side, I'm willing to break up until I get stuff in order. Then we can get back together. But a real woman is not going to allow that to happen, especially if she cares about me. She's going to stick side by side with me. She ain't got to help me with the situation, but 9 times out of 10, I mean, every time I went through something with a woman, they always stuck right there. But me, my mind says, "Hey, baby, I'm going through something right now. Um, I may not be silly or charismatic right now. Just give me time, and they ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. So, but yeah,
So have you so you have had to do that before?
I contemplated a couple of times, but what I was able to do was compartmentalize the issue at hand right then and there. And did I maybe take some of the advice of what I was going through? Yes, I did. And didn't break up because I'm a Pisces. A lot of times when we going through some trauma, we want to handle it by ourselves. Unless you can help directly or instantly right there, we like being by ourselves and figure that stuff out. So for the most part, yeah, me on the surface would be like, yeah, let me, I ain't got time for her and this situation, but you got to be whole with you to deal with somebody else. You can't be a liability to them, because I don't know why people expect so much from other people, but you darn sure should not be dragging them down, holding them back. You should be inspiring one another and helping one another. If you're gonna team up, be a team.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
And
but
now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're a team, then you let the other person help you through what you're going through. You don't try to go through it yourself.
Right. Okay. Oh, I didn't flip myself off of there. Yeah, I agree with that. It's always good to have somebody that has your back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or your best interests at heart. I tend to get away from people who do not have my best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? You really have to watch that, because
Hold
especially
on.
nowadays it gets crazy. Go ahead.
You said you tend to have people around you that don't have
That
your best in.
I don't have people around me
Oh,
that
okay.
do not have my best interests at heart. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
And even, yeah, I was just gonna say, even if, you say, hey, I don't know what you're going through, but if you need me, I'm here.
okay. All right. Hold on one second. My cousin doing up this link.
Wait for the 10 o'clock show to come
Hi,
on.
sweet Mama G.
Good evening. How are you? Good night. Hello.
It
Mhm.
it was it's always me, cuz
I know. No
I'm
text, nothing. I know.
I oh my gosh, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it.
Oh Lord.
What we're
Okay.
talking about is, is your man an asset or a liability?
Mhm.
Now, have you ever had to lay your eyes and some time on a man that was a liability before? Cuz
All of them.
man
All of them.
bashing.
No man badger. Yeah, I don't like the truth. Ain't that right, Shimmy? They don't like the truth.
Cut like a knife. Hurt. These
So,
stitches.
so in the past, cuz half 100. Uh,
Mhm.
um, what have you seen? If you can give us 3 to 4 uh things that happened where men made themselves uh a liability, or they
So
was
let me clear this up.
okay.
They didn't make themselves a liability. I did that because I had the choice to deal with them
Okay.
with what they bought as the liability. And I tried to help make them an asset, but
Mm-hmm.
I made an ass of myself.
Mm. By trying to keep pushing them or something, like to
Just keeping hope alive.
okay, and seeing what do you call it?
They said seeing potential, not
Yeah,
some potential, but just, you know, we get gripes as black women not standing by your man or, you know, being interested in their foolishness, but a lot of time it's foolishness. They don't have the
They're
time to
probably
think about it. They don't believe in themselves. They want everybody else around them to believe in them. And when you start to pull away and don't, you're wrong.
okay.
there
You know.
probably was some controlling mechanisms going on in there too.
Well, I don't know about controlling, but you know, you try to look thinking, okay, well, he a guy, he's trying, you know, he got this type of business. I'm gonna help out, I'm gonna help promote, I'm gonna help finance. And then, okay, my automatic lights went out. You wind up losing time, space, and money for somebody else who didn't need work. And I'm tired of putting in projects and they unfinished projects. I don't like that because I finished my work. When I'm at my jobs, I finish my work, I finish my degrees, my certificate. What am I doing? I'm finishing. My finish line never came with these people. Where my lights at?
Right. Shout out to Nate from upstate in the building. Salute, my brother. He says you got to be right with yourself before you can be right with someone else. And that's exactly what Shimmy had mentioned. And that's very true. That's very true. A lot of people are living in toxic energy at the moment, and then they still looking for a relationship and transfer. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's still kind of pick up what we talked about last week about we talked about guys who didn't have it together and then they always want to be in a relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Or they think they the asset. Because how you got a woman that she got everything going on, she might have kids, you know, and single by herself, but then you single and you have less than what she has.
Right. And that happens more often than we know.
Listen, a whole lot of basement dwellers. People living under the stairs. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
That's what I start calling people that live under the stairs in the
That's
basement.
so crazy you mentioned that movie, because I was just thinking, like, nobody ain't seen this movie. That movie was good as I don't know what. It was a classic.
Mhm.
People under the stairs.
And they just try to charm you to death. And I used to fall for being out of a marriage and you trying to see what's out there now. I'm like, child, let me go take me a nap. I don't even call, whatever. I see you, whatever, no, never.
So now you saying what's seeing out there. Now y'all see the craze that's going on right now. Actually, it's been going on for it really ain't nothing new. But where a lot of the young men are after older women. Although that's nothing new, but I and it was funny because I was talking about that like the day before yesterday, right? And while last night something came on, but I'm starting to also notice when they do these little skits, they actually be skits, right? And people was calling out that girl that was supposed to be the older woman, and the little dude was, first of all, he sounded stupid. Like he sounded like homeboy's son, right? It was just a talking. Yeah, but what if I tell you? Blah, blah, blah. It actually sounded dumb. And then she called herself being a little flattered by what he was saying, but people was calling her out like because she was another content creator, so she wasn't like a real, like it was really happening, but it really looked stupid. So, but a lot of times too, that's just like the old age thing of the younger women after men. I mean, older men. You see what I'm saying? So it's all coming around and going around. But I mean, here's my thing about that. You got to think back when you was, let's say 28. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be 28 again. And you dealing with a young lady that's 28. Do you remember the problems that you had back when you was 28? I was married at the time, but just with women or women, do y'all remember the problems that y'all had with men back then? Y'all want to deal with something 28?
I was married. I didn't want to deal with that 28-year-old being married.
See, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like, yeah, 20. And then can you imagine being 28 in this day and age? Oh my
It's a
God.
Yeah.
it's a lot of fruit to pick off the tree. Nope.
Yeah, it is.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Do you think once a man is a liability, he's always going to be a liability, or can he switch it up?
Unfortunately, a lot of guys do nestle into being a liability because if you're going to be driven, you're going to be driven. You're going to stay driven.
Yeah.
You're going to love being driven. But if you nestle into like, I'm just half doing everything, and then I meet women that just take care of me or whatever. A lot of them guys, they like that.
Or sometimes they get motivated. Say the relationship isn't going all that well, they get motivated when they meet someone else. And in the midst of meeting someone still with their same person, that's when you're like, well, God, he going to the gym now, he working now, he got the zaddy beard, and he worried about his health and all stuff. That's when you have to side eye. It's not always a woman, it could be another man.
So you saying that say that again. I mean, you ain't gotta say the whole thing, but you saying that he was.
I said he could still be in a relationship with his current partner, but let's say somebody else sparked his interest. They got these work husbands, work wives, and he's seen a little something at the job, and he thinking about, well, shoot, I look like, he take a good look. She fine. She just, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to keep up with somebody else. Let me start getting myself in shape and working out and, changing how I dress, get the new latest cologne, look at maybe upgrade their car. Cause they start with that, with the little car thing,
Right.
Upgrade their car and get a little beard, little facial hair and, stuff like that. Yeah. You seen men that look like, George Jefferson at the top, and they go to now these barbers that can put the wigs at the top and shape it together. Now they got a head full of hair and a lined up beard with the chalk, and they going out with the chalk on their little face. You be like, Lord, you could have wiped the little chalk stuff off.
Right. That happens to me sometimes with my barbers.
I know, we notice sometimes.
Yeah, he uses it for the lineup, but then sometimes they don't want to mess with it because he might throw the lineup off. But it's some dudes that actually want the chalk on their head.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Everybody looking like Teddy Pendergrass. I'm over it.
Right. Now, Nate from Upstate said, and there's also a difference between being supportive for one another versus you trying to fix them or they're trying to fix you.
I want to say it's a negative pull when you're saying vice versa. It seems like we can't get it together. We always pulling, especially our community. We're pulling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He want to be successful and driven. She does too. But when he doesn't pay her attention, she pulling him and being negative. When he don't get that from her, he's pulling her. It's that negative instead of being cohesive. It's a lot of tugging and pulling against each other.
Okay. Yeah. So have you ever dated a man that you considered he was an asset?
I told you no.
Oh, dang.
That's the first question. I said no. They always liabilities.
Okay.
Huh.
How about you, Miss Leslie?
I'd have to agree with Sweet Mama G.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I be trying to tell y'all, man. Man.
What's
Sweet Mama, Sweet Mama, you mean to tell me? Sweet Mama, you mean to tell me you ain't never dated a man that you said shit, I ain't got to worry about nothing?
Nope.
You ain't. Sweet Mama, please. I'm 52. Listen. Listen. Okay, let's just say years of experience. You mean to tell? And see, they go back to what I've been saying for the longest. Sweet Mama, you never had a guy that you dated, fell in love with, that was like Creep, that could say, baby, I got everything. Don't worry about, relax. Whatever you want to chip in, you can. Whatever you need to do, I got you. I don't need you for nothing but moral support. You never had that type of man?
No.
Woo! Hey, cuz you are.
Hey,
and
look.
He say like my cousin. Please don't compare nobody with that thing right there.
Hey,
God,
look.
no.
Look.
God, no. Good Lord.
Look, they say, Shimmy, you be hard on women. I say, women hard to please, but y'all ain't got much to be hard to please from.
Not at all. Trash. Same games. You know how sometimes you know people, you still have acquaintance with them, and they still got this. Like, it's say you met somebody in 2009, now it's 25. You know, you still make chit chat. They still in the same mode. It's like, well, I grew, but you still in the basement, in the dwellings, still crying about
I don't
getting the business
believe
started.
it.
Huh?
Well, Miss Leslie, you had a man to take completely care of you and nurture you and
She said
support
no.
you.
No.
Before you started talking, she said no.
Y'all haven't?
No.
When you have that?
You know what? I see where the anger stems from. When you haven't seen
Who's
something and
angry?
witnessed something and been a part of something great, it's easy to lash out and feel the way you feel. I empathize with you guys. I understand now.
So
I
we've
won't
been
be so
angry. Shimmy, we've been angry.
well. Not I wouldn't say you're angry, but you're damn so disappointed in what you've been getting.
Child, that's why I stay in the house, be napping. Y'all say, yeah, I said, oh, they woke me up from my little naps. Because somebody said, you on the show? I'm like, what show? What day is it? I didn't even know what day on day it was. I fell asleep so hard.
Man, I had some beautiful women in my life. I ain't gonna lie. I might have tricked it off, but hey.
I mean, they can say how they seen all this fineness too, but they don't know how to act right. They still got the same shit, and I don't want to be bothered. Like I will date you, but I'm not going to go all the way to the liability of marriage, knowing that you still got shenanigans. No, because I feel that would be on my side. I would wind up paying alimony. Absolutely not.
Oh,
You
no, sweet.
don't want to pay alimony?
I don't want to pay the man by the 15th of April. Y'all want to pay another man? Shoot. The man already got my pocketbook. Ain't nobody else getting nothing else of it. The man and student loan folk, no. No, I don't. I don't think, no, absolutely not. Like, you know, you got
When you
some
have
jokers that's
those,
been around and whatever, but to take people seriously that's gonna waste my time, because I likes to nap. I got a busy life and I'm a caregiver for old people. I don't have not 1 minute to waste. I used to waste a whole bunch of time and spend my Fridays and let me get cooking all this food after I got off of work and having everything in the finest and order. Nope. I went and got my hair done, got me something to eat from the good mall, and went to come drive my little time and took me a nap. Not doing that. I
So,
got final
so,
exams.
so, in other words, being at the ripe age of 50, you women in general don't really have nothing to look forward to when it comes to a future with a good man.
I had a guy, to be honest. So I'm gonna do a shimmy story time. I'm gonna be we're gonna do a shimmy story time. This guy I dated actually in Atlanta was probably over the years my best dates. Like I would fly in, he knew to have my little Pepsis. When I ain't supposed to be drinking no Pepsis, my little snacks, and my little Reese cup, whatever. Pick me up from the airport, or if I got a rental car, you know, meet him at the house, whatever buzz you in, because he had living in a gated community. I didn't plan crap. Now I might plan like I want to go to this particular restaurant I like in Atlanta. But other than that, he had, he's like, I'm gonna find a comedy show because I told you I used to hang up there with my cousin, original dirt bike shop off of Jimmy Carter. The dinner, take me to the Decad Farmers Market so I can take my stuff back with me because we don't have that where I live at. You know, just little stuff like that. You know, like I like to do. By the time he get up, because he had a job, he was stressed. Because we'd be up watching movies, he would get up kind of late, so we would do like late brunch, and then bring maybe some dinner back home. Fun sightseeing. I told you, playing the old school music, and he's from New York, so you know we got that kind of Baltimore, New York kind of thing. We kind of, the old school biggie and stuff. Just different things in common. He was by far the best. The best holidays, like I got maybe 2 Christmases together, something like that, and Valentine's planned. I ain't had to do it all planning. Now, I want to go certain places, but planning once he got to know me, just playing. I didn't have to do a whole lot. I didn't have to say, well, let me find tickets to. No, it was none of that. But he had been burnt out from Atlanta dating so much. He was good on that part, but the sexual energy wasn't there.
Can I ask you something?
You gonna ask it anyway?
I'm asking anyway because right now I hear you and Miss Leslie's side, and I'm not gonna fall for it because there's two sides to every story and the truth. Now, y'all say these guys y'all ran into or dated or whatever, they they were liabilities. Now, for you to even think to date this guy or these guys or whatever, were they good guys and you just ran them off by being controlling or ran them off by not listening? Because you can be a liability, but not financially. You might not be a liability financially. You might not be a liability physically, but as far as a burden psychologically or a burden as far as um emotionally, I can see where the guy may lose that passion to be with a woman. And then once he loses that passion and fire, then he just kind of gives up and coasts along until he, finds an exit to get out of there. Because I just don't see a guy that would sit there and just all of a sudden you guys, it's a honeymoon, then it can go just and then it just ends, and then you guys say, well, he won nothing anyway. I'm thinking like, what did I guess my question is, do you have any blame in him being a liability or a loser or giving up?
I don't think he's his own. I think he's his own loser because he didn't do things he wanted to do. He got married late and it didn't last. He let her keep the house. Because I was saying something when we were talking about, getting deep into our relationship. And I said, oh, because I don't live in Atlanta. And we were talking about, me moving to Atlanta. I had to wait for my licensure. Okay, boom, then COVID hit. He got sick and then work. And there was a whole bunch of stuff he was doing that was asinine for his age. The drinking and driving, got locked up, for that, and how they work out with the troopers, penalty. It was a lot of those stuff that he went through from stuff he was doing. And then the pandemic hit, and then, it was hard to kind of maneuver with that. But he still had, because I said, well, where would you live at in Atlanta that we could probably, work on maybe living together? He said, and took me to the house where him and the wife still own the house. Because she had a child, didn't have a child with him, he let her have the house in the divorce. I'm only going by what he's saying. And he been living in an apartment probably 12, 13, 14, 15 years. She kept the house. I don't know how the divorce went. Was it there? Not on the papers. But a lot of times when I see them, I'm like, well, wait, you're not getting no house with me because you got a house with her. And I'm not taking no liability, and I ain't no damn fool either. In the Commonwealth of Georgia say, you got to read up on your law, especially if you moving and going to different states. What happened when you start coupling together? Your assets in their ass, and then you can't be set free. But he had a lot of stuff going on with him. Like I said, he was burnt out from massive dating and going on. He did all the Freakniks back in the day. That's how he originally got down from New York. The Freakniks from the 80s and 90s. I don't even know how long. All that stuff. And they stayed down there, a group of them and stuff like that. And, burnt relationships. He just content with being in the house. I'm talking about homebody, Christmas decorate, had family issues. Mom died years ago. I was trying to take it back. So when you have a lot of familiar issues, you had a baby by a girl that was married, the side baby, I don't know what you call him. She was married, but he wasn't. So when you have all these issues balled up and you have resolved and you try to come to somebody who has a simple life, it's kind of hard. I don't have all that
Shimmy,
shenanigans.
You talk about the man losing passion for the woman. What about the woman losing passion for the man because he doesn't do what he's supposed to do?
Bruh.
I was married twice, and I took care of the bills. I took care of everything.
5 minutes.
I mean,
but sometimes too, Miss Leslie, when men see that you're doing that, why should they have passion? They using you for what you can do. Not all
Right.
men, but some men. That's why I have to be careful of telling people my profession because they think they see sugar mama. Hell no. Let's ask the Department of Education how much I owe them. Let's ask the man how much I owe them this tax bracket. Because every year the taxes go, you're not getting no money you're paying into the man. So, man meaning the government. So,
right.
it's a lot of different things with that. I just refuse to put myself back in them old situations as best as I can. Because you see the smoke and mirrors
Right.
coming, you just like to walk through the smoke and do the cabbage patch and knowing this from foolishness. You know, you already know that because they come beautiful on the outside the shell, but when you crack the shell open, there's some green goblin crap inside. You don't want to deal with. And it's a lot of them. It's a lot of guys I could tell you been on this show or in the DMs of our show, and then they hit me and I said, "Did you go look at their page like you got shenanigans?" No, hell no, no, thank you. And I tell my cousin all the time, "Don't I creep
You do.
the shenanigans?"
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, nope.
The shenanigans is real.
And not to be smart, I don't even. I think I only maybe friend one person, Miss Amelia, maybe, and that's because she's from the neighborhood. I don't friend, not even Miss Leslie. She can tell you I ain't friend her. I just don't. I don't want people all on my personal page and all that stuff. I may or may not respond back. And half the time I'm not even looking at crap from my family members. So you lucky if you get a response. I'm not on social media like that. I've slacked back over the last couple of months of being on social media, even posting anything, any pictures about me, anything. When you have a busy world of things you need to do, social media becomes less important unless you're being nosy. TikTok to me, I only go there to shop because they deliver almost faster than Amazon, so they be having the good little sales. I'm not sitting up there trying to do nobody dance to crick up my little knees that sound like potato chips. I ain't doing none of that. That's very rare to none.
Right.
You just got picked. It was good. Oh yeah, we on Wednesdays, we on Fridays. I'm taking me a nap.
Right.
And that's my time because I have so many other things in my life. You got to figure out as you age what's important.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. And we were talking about like some of the guys, being a liability. You know what I'm saying? Also, when they get in that frame of mind, they start looking for a sponsor.
You got that right.
And that's the same thing with these little boys out here messing with like the older women sugar mom
Can
sponsors.
I tell you something, Creek?
Go ahead, cuz.
Older men been screwing some younger woman forever and having side babies and doing their thing. Miss
Right.
Shirley been creeping, having little Javante, Jervi, whatever these little names is now,
Right.
creeping in the house to
Tavia,
get her rocks off. Don't think this is nothing new.
nothing new.
It's
Nothing.
not nothing new, just televised, you telling all the business. But people think it's shocked that men not, they messing with older women or big girls. I ain't never been out of style, and I've been a big girl since 75.
Mhm.
I ain't never had a style, honey. All this fabulousness. And
Right.
we got pictures of me and Cree. I was just a fast little thing in the middle, taking up 2 pictures of the kids.
But see,
But
the-
they do kind of, I guess they kind of doing too much now because I think now you may see the old woman, young woman, man out on a date, whereas
Mhm.
back then it was just a transactional
Right. Yep.
relationship.
Right.
You give me a piece, I'm gonna give you some smothered pork chops and gravy and a couple dollars, and you go about your business. Or come fix Miss Barbara's engine, I'm gonna give you a couple dollars. Or flip side, you gonna go to Mr. Jerome, and my name is Tamika, to get my little car service because I don't have a decent man, I don't have no daddy. Miss Jerome, 55, little fat, greasy pot belly man up under the hood. You give him a little piece to get your discount or for free. It's always been an exchange for goods and services.
Right. I mean, let me ask you this. I noticed y'all ever seen that movie called Ma?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah.
It was weird as hell, but it was good.
Definitely weird, awkward. But the thing about that, a lot of times for me, and this is going to sound like almost maybe sexist or whatever, but when a guy does that, it just seemed like that's how it's been for a long time. But sometimes when women do that, something happened. Just like in that movie. If you think about it, her traumas came from when they were bullying her and teasing her and doing all kinds of stuff. And then it was almost like she now felt as though she found a group of kids that she needed to really be a part of, like she wanted to be as a kid.
She wanted to be a cool kid, but wasn't. She was
Yeah,
awkward. She was teased. She was coerced. But then it so happened that the cool kids was children of people that treated her poorly.
right. So, you know, I just, it was a good movie. It was a good movie, but I see that a lot. And you remember that lady? I think was Mary Kay Letourneau or whatever her name. I think her last name was Letourneau. She was a teacher way back in the
This
80s.
time I had a baby by the boy.
Yeah, yeah. You remember that? She was the
That's a
teacher.
mess.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then he went to jail. Oh no, she went to jail.
She went to jail and then had got out, married, and had another one
All right.
or two.
No, she married the same little dude, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Had one
Yeah.
or two more after that.
Yeah, they was on one of the talk shows, I think.
Yeah,
Springer
years
or
ago.
Maury, something like that. Jenny Jones or what's that girl's name?
Ricky Lake.
Yeah, Ricky Lake. Yeah.
And you have to be careful of the mind of people. People think because people are in what we quote has been known as safe positions, like the biggest thing. Oh, I'm gonna go to my teacher. I had favorite teachers, or in a school council position or a position of authority, like a principal or a doctor or attorney, that they not above the law. Everybody ain't perfect. Just because they had those titles, don't mean they won't do criminal activities. Everybody got a little bit of something in them, but
That's
people think those positions are supposed to be admirable, but hell, they didn't tarnish a whole bunch of different things nowadays.
hmm Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you'll be surprised. Somebody or some of these people in high places that really should be trying to protect their positions in life and their character and everything else, and they will go and do something stupid. And so you got to really watch them. Like um, you'll have a guy that's like a coach,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody trusts him. He been there for years, but come to find out all them years he was molesting kids and
No different from clergy. And I'm not just going to say the Catholic Church, because there's been a lot of Baptists and Episcopalians and whatever that been called out for taking advantage of, children or people who may not be able to defend themselves, people who aren't in the right state of mind, women who are single or abused, or men who, they see that they might have a feminine energy and they take advantage of that. So it's not just those, it's also people we put our faith in, because we always talk about the Lord and going to the Lord in prayer. And half the people that's doing it, they doing it for a clergy tax write-off. They don't pay taxes.
right.
And I know people know that if you're a clergy person, you don't pay taxes in most instances. So guess what? What I'm gonna do? They just as crooked as a pimp. And most of the mega church pastors, if you ever listen to them, they sound like what? Pimps. They
Mhm.
have that sweet talk, that tone, that demeanor, that bossiness. They have the finest wear. They always had armor birds and people to drive them most of the time, or the luxury car. Like I'm
Women,
broke
women.
trying to get my lights on, and the pastor riding around in the Bentley.
Yeah, I see it a lot,
Yeah.
especially down here. I mean,
Oh, it's ridiculous down there.
you
Atlanta's crazy.
yeah, some pastors be trying to fight to get down here. Remember
You got that right.
Jamal Bryan? Then came down here and started flexing and everything. It's crazy. So
That's a whole nother
Yeah.
story. When that thing was here in Baltimore, that was a hot mess.
yeah, he
That
was
was a hot mess. He needed to go someplace else, but he doing the same hot messiness down there. I
right.
think worse. Here, it was bad over the years. I don't do mega churches. I barely do church, but I go for the community, and sometimes I go to a program. But it's become less and less. I move into my spiritual right mind versus being worldly. What people, oh, you should be married. You're in the singles group. Why don't you come to the old people single group? I don't want no old Geritol ass man from the church. He done dated everybody else. I'm good.
Right.
No, nope.
That's like being a nurse. you're held to a certain standard or a doctor or whatever. It's just a job.
Right.
My cousin said you was a hoe, Miss Leslie. Don't trust no nurse. My cousin said you was a hoe.
Which Crete?
Yeah.
Now she not talking about you personally or literally. She's talking about
That nurses are hoes?
Yeah.
passion, nurse.
She got to work screwing the doctors, the janitors.
Why are you gonna say that, cuz Bobby?
That's what you said. And never trust no nurse. Shoot. You can't trust
Who's
teachers,
comeback?
principals, the janitors. Janitors get more booty than everybody.
Dang.
You be
It's not
surprised.
really true. By the
Yeah.
time you get done working, you're so tired, you just want to go to bed.
And
Oh, you going to bed, Miss Leslie?
going to bed inside the house.
I never, I never got any action. I don't know.
See, that was your fault.
See.
You could have been cleaning up, girl, getting that money and getting your money. Meet them in the broom closet.
Dang, with the janitor or the doctor?
Everybody.
Golly.
Everybody.
Or the patient.
Oh wow.
Yeah, now I don't want no patient there. Depending, they got a little money, maybe.
Dang. Y'all hardcore. So now the reason why I'm saying this right now is because I done got sleepy.
You got sleepy.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody tell you bring your ass on here late.
I know. and I don't
You better not have no competition tomorrow.
No, it's Sunday. Tomorrow I got a long day. I got to work on the bikes or whatever, and then get ready to go out there to for Sunday. So yeah, I got a long one, and I didn't get a chance to come on Wednesday, but we coming on this Wednesday. We got Rashi Chappelle, we got Piff Penny. Telling you, it's gonna be crazy. So but my thing is I pushed to come on, and I said, no, I got to get on or whatever. So I'm gonna do some reconstructing of some things to make things work. It's time to change some things up, and we're gonna make it happen. But like I said, as of now, we're gonna shut it down. We write at we write at an hour.
Now, Shimmy, listen. These early Fridays, these 1 hour shows, you got to peek about. He used to have us longer than jury duty.
I knew you was gonna say something, cuz.
He used to have us longer than jury duty, half sleep, I did. Miss Les like, sweet man, don't be falling asleep. I'm like, yeah, it's jury duty time. We on the night shift.
Yeah, see,
woo,
because I love to kick it more. But next week we're gonna have a guest on here on the relationship show as well. But like I said, this just that I gotta make some moves here and get myself and try to get some sleep, whatever.
Oh man, got the music, background music on and everything.
So much love to y'all, man. It's always a blessing to see y'all every week. And also everybody that's in the comment section, always a blessing to see y'all comments and when y'all come on the show. We definitely gonna be at it. I love you, cuz, and my guys Shimmy and Miss Leslie. Man, much love to y'all. And we're gonna be back on in a couple days. Please pray for me that me and my sons ride safe.
I know what you need to pray for.
So hey, they be praying that they be praying.
I was like, wait a minute, what happened?
They be praying and everything at the track and having
you better nowadays. Yeah. You got to pray every time you listen. You make a move.
Yeah. And shout out to I got the track we're going to is called Fannin County MX. They some great people out there, and then my peoples that's out there and just in the culture of motocross, they be out there and we have so much fun. You need to come out there one day, Shim Dog, check it out. So but like I said, we're gonna be back on in a couple days. And you got anything else you want to announce, cuz or Miss Leslie or Shim Dog?
Nope. Sit your tail down, Creek. Y'all had Excel on here earlier. So shout out to Nate from Upstate, Pokey, Sue. Miss Christina was on here. Big Cousin Led's on here. Mario Perez Escobar. That's a whole lot.
Yeah.
DJ Excel. Let's see who else is on here. Miss Leslie.
I know,
Miss
I know we
Amelia.
really shouldn't talk. I know we shouldn't talk about this, but are you doing okay with all the tariffs and everything that?
Nah, it definitely hit uh the line of business that I'm in directly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it is not good. And I hate raising prices on folks and everything, but it's crazy. And then it's making people very weary of even spending their money.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
But it's gonna work out though. It's gonna work out because what happens is it all funnels down the line. The people that was driving ain't driving no more because they couldn't afford their cars and insurance anymore. So now they get a scooter or dirt bike or something, you know what I mean, to get around. So
right. Yeah,
that's how it is. And ain't
yeah,
nothing wrong with that as long as you're getting where where you need to be. So
Yeah, it's a
right.
lot. It's a lot with that. And like for me, when they cut Medicare and Medicaid, that affects my business. So there's a lot going on
Yeah,
every day. So sometimes, like, my first job, I'm burnt out. I'm sleeping by 6 o'clock between the allergies and the. I'm trying not to watch it, but then people you inadvertently hear things. You like, I don't hear that. Not today. My nerves bad. Because you got to plan ahead.
right.
right.
It's a
Yeah,
scary times for raising mortgages, and if you live in an apartment, and they couple of people who had insurance raised because of the new tariffs, because they said auto parts are going to go up, and when people crash their cars and they have to total out, the insurance take that liability, so they put it on the front end anticipating things will happen. So you may not get an accident, but you're also paying a higher rate to help the insurance company pay for those
Mhm.
damaged properties of other people. It hurts your pockets. Like I was telling my
mm,
cousin, I paid my parents' electric bill, and they old people. They put all the raises on to the customers versus the utility company. We went from a 200 something dollar bill a month to I just paid a bill almost $600 for now.
That's
oh
crazy.
my God.
I'm like, that's a luxury car note. What we doing? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? And I
Right.
had to find out, but it's been several months, and you several months of paying $1,000 when that would kind of take you 5 months versus a month or two. You like, hold up, we're gonna have to rethink some things in life. So that's what we looking at now as far as everything in your household going up, no matter whether you're in an apartment or a home. And if you're taking care of people, they're cutting a lot of stuff that you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for.
Yeah,
So
instead
Right.
of having
Yeah.
the kitchen lights on, light a fire, campfire.
Right.
So
oh,
that's
you
Yeah.
better start getting some battery operated lights and fans, and you can get it because campers have it. 'Cause I used
yes.
to get my battery operated fans from Walmart in the camping section.
Mm-hmm.
Better power them things up. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to do things differently. Start stocking now. Well, you should have been pre-stocking.
Right.
At least
hmm
Generator.
you got your can of raviolis a day to keep your shrimp up. You better have it. Because I
Mm,
don't know what's gonna become of a lot. When eggs went up and they was fighting at the Costco's, you already knew it was gonna be some foolishness. So
mm-hmm.
I ain't bought no eggs
Yeah.
in a couple months because I'm like, unless I'm cooking or baking something, which I don't have time for that. I'm not buying no eggs. I think we paid six eggs was like $4. I said, oh no.
That's
What
crazy.
kind of chickens are these? Yep.
Yeah.
But y'all have a wonderful weekend. Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah.
Shimmy,
Thank you.
Miss Leslie. And Crete, what your shirt say? You foxy? What that say?
Fox.
You're a fox today.
Nah,
Mhm.
it's just a brand. But I try. No, I'm messing with you. So all right.
Mm.
So we will see you guys on the next show. Make sure y'all look out and keep up with us on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. We are
All right. Have a good weekend.
Bye.